Today on RCVTV, we're going to be talking about the RX300 from wismec. Alright, so let's see what comes inside the box. So, obviously, right on top, you have the mod itself. We're using the all black one. They do come in like a brushed stainless steel as well. We have underneath the flap inside here, we do have a charging slash data cable transferring. We have a little thing telling you about battery safety. Make sure your cases are in order on those batteries. You have a fairly thick manual, which is always nice from Rillo, and you have some brown leather stickers to replace the black leather that's already on there in case it rips, or in case you just want to change things up a little bit. Alright, so here is the new RX300. The first thing most people are going to notice is that it is massive in the hand, and that's just because that quad or 418-650s. That's what allows it to do 300 watts. Later on in this video, I'm actually going to throw a voltage tester on top and see how accurate it gets at that higher voltage range stuff, but we'll leave that till a little bit later. So some of the other major changes they've made is going to be the door on this guy. It's no longer a sliding door where it pulled off the back from magnets like it used to be on the RX200 or the 200S. It is now a spring-loaded bottom door connection, which a lot of people have gripes with sometimes, but this one is actually pretty dang sturdy. They're pretty solid. Once you have batteries in the device, it's actually even a little difficult to open it up. So it actually wouldn't be too surprising if you never have this open by accident, because it is a lot tougher than some of the other mods out there. They obviously have it labeled here as well, so you got negative, positive, positive, and the negative, and they also have it labeled down the barrels as well. So let's pop some batteries into this thing. And in normal fashion, it automatically boots on once the batteries are slapped into it. But 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 shuts it off, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of the fire button will turn it back on. You have your 3-button standard operation, so all of your menu system and all that kind of stuff is based off that. So up is up with your wattage, and down is down. The one thing I have noticed is that your set wattage, so say 120 watts, will show up right there. Your point of a watt is going to show up right at the top there. And once you've actually kind of like set your wattage, it kind of just goes back to a W, so you can't always tell if you're at 120.6. You just know that you're 120 until you go to adjust it again. As always, if you hold both the up and down button together for 3 seconds, it locks your up and your down buttons, so you can no longer adjust your wattage, but you can keep on vaping on it. Hold both of them again for 3 seconds, and that will unlock a fire. And left will do stealth. So now stealth is on, so the screen will be off while you are vaping. It's nice to save a little bit of battery life, or if you don't want to annoy someone with a bright light in their face while you're watching a movie or something like that. So hold fire left again, stealth off, and then the menu system of this thing. So there's 2 different menus. There's the menu for your modes in itself, so if that's going to be 1, 2, 3 clicks, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. There we go. So it blinked finally. It seems to get into this menu a little bit easier when you have an atomizer on it, but nonetheless. So once it's blinking, you will push right, and that will change into your different modes. So there's going to be temperature mode, and then there's going to be your TCR, which is another form of temp control as well. Now, the weirdest thing that they've changed is that it doesn't scroll through all of your temp control options. So it's not going to go nickel, titanium, and stainless steel before you get around back to wattage. So once you're in this mode, you actually want to push left. Oops. 1, 2, 3. you want to go left, and now just the NI is going to blink. While that's blinking, if you push right, it's going to change it to TI for titanium, and then SS for stainless steel, and then back to nickel. If you do left one more time, it goes down to your wattage, so you can play with that. If you push left one more time, it's going to lock or unlock your ohms, and then left one more time, you can change it between seconds and puffs, and you can see I've only puffed on this a couple of times. So go left one more time back to the top. We'll change that back to wattage mode. Now, the secondary menu, or what some people call as the secret menu. So if you hold fire and right, oop, that was fire and left, whoopsies. So fire and right, you're going to have your option for your logo, so you can turn your logo on or off. To get into the next part of the menu, you have to go down left and then left again to go back up, and then you will go right or up to go to the next menu, which is going to be your preheat. And then you can adjust your preheat from there. I'm going to leave this at a 140 watts for 0.5 of a second, but you can fiddle around with that if you'd like. Now, if I actually hold fire and right again, oops, it's left again. Let's turn that stealth off. Now, there's also another one in here, which is kind of a neat little feature that I have not seen before. So if you're in this menu and you go left twice and then click right twice, now you can actually turn off USB charging. Now, the reason you would want to do this is inside these chips there's a balance board to make sure that all 4 batteries try to get the right voltage. When you're above that 2 battery and you get into 3 and 4 batteries, the balancing boards are just not smart enough to always do it accurately. So in a pinch, you can shut it off so your friends won't accidentally plug it in, or when you plug it into update, it doesn't unbalance your board, or unbalance your batteries, I mean. So there's ways around shutting that off, which is really nice that or wismec has included that, especially considering all of the concerns and issues they had around with the RX200s, 2/3, and all that kind of stuff. Beyond that, there's not many other options on it. It is a just updatable firmware, so there's going to be more features in the future for sure. One of my favorite things is going to be the fact that all 4 batteries are shown on the screen, which is extremely important when you're marrying batteries, because if you've got one of these discharging faster than the rest, you're going to end up with poor battery life, which is never fun. Alright, so I'm going to end up checking a tank on this. Today I'm going to be using one of our employees, Heather's TFV8. She's running it with the T10 coil inside of this. So I'm going to take this up top. We're going to try a vape on it. I'll tell you what I think. Alright, so we have the RX300 sitting here with the TFV8 with the T10 in it. We're going to take a puff or two on it. So the coil is reading out at 0.13. I've got it set for 140 watt preheat for 0.5 of a second, and it will go down to 120 after that 0.5. And it says it's roughly going to use about 3.96 volts to achieve that. So we'll take a pull on it here. There's like no delay at all to the button. You push that button, it like immediately is firing up that coil, which is excellent. I love that. The one thing I am going to mention that is, I mentioned down below, it is a massive device, and even with my smaller hands, it tends to fit quite well. It's quite comfy. I know a lot of people aren't going to like the shape of it, but if you want 4 batteries, there's not much else you can really do. It has to be a certain size to fit those 4 batteries, but all in all, I think they did a fairly good job on it. I know it's a little bit smaller than the iJoy, but quite excellent, enjoying it quite a bit. I'm going to throw the voltage tester on it. We'll see if she's doing the voltage that she says she is, and we'll crank up the wattage to see what it actually can go up to. The voltage tester is an inline one, so it is going to add a little bit of resistance. So now my coil is reading out at 0.15, and it says it's going to be using about 4.25 for the voltage. So I don't know if you can see it there, but pretty damn spot on. And the reason it's reading a little bit higher is just because that 140 preheat. So I'm actually going to shut that off right now. Okay, so 120 watts, 4.26. Pretty spot on, which is good. Alright, so let's take this up and see what happens. Most mods seem to struggle beyond that 6 watt kind of area, so I'm actually going to set this right to the max. Let's just give it a go. So 6.7 volts at 0.15 to achieve 300 watts. That's a lot of heat. So let's see what it goes at. It's going a little high, 6.7, so it read 6.7 there for a second, and then it kind of jumped up to like a 7.4. So it definitely is throwing the voltage out there. It didn't seem to be too accurate around that 0.15. Nonetheless, it definitely does do 300 watts, which is excellent. It is exactly what they need to have it do. So that's pretty much it for this video, guys. Thanks for watching, and as always,
subscribe to the channel, like the videos,
follow us on Instagram and Twitter.
Like us on Facebook, and until next time,
Make smart choices.